What's up, guys? This is Adam with NoTorqueGarage, and well, we finally got the rest of the parts in. So we should be able to get this bike finished up today. I got a whole lot of pickup work to do on it to get it all done. I'll finish up the wiring on the bars, even though the wiring's all done. Just got to run them, make them look cleaner. We got the new brake master cylinder and the clutch master cylinder in. We got the grips. We got the license plate to actually put on for him because he wanted the license plate put on. And we also have the front turn signals as well that are going to be ready to go on. There's only one thing that's missing, and that'd be the rear fender. But he doesn't give a shit. He just wants the bike done. So we're putting the stock seat back on it, and we're leaving the fender off because he decided he was a professional with a grinder while he was here last, and we all know how that looked. So for right now, we're going to put the bike all the way together, get it running, get it done, and finish it all up. That way he can pick it up this weekend, and he still has the fender on order. It's just about another month out, and I'm ready for my lift to be taken up by something else. And he's ready to ride it, because honestly, let's be real here. You don't need a rear fender just to ride. You can be bald tire. It's going to look weird. It'll be a little weird. If it's wet outside, he's going to get a big-ass line up his back. But it's not needed. It's just extra steps. But let's go ahead and get to work, starting setting this thing back up and getting it all put back together, and I'll be right back with you when I made up a game plan. Alright guys, so we kind of got a little bit of a game plan going here. Well, I've got a game plan going here. So right now, just trying to get all the controls and everything up top finished up. But, you know, when you convert like Honda or Yamaha or Suzuki type of bikes and try to put a lot of Harley parts onto them, typically it's not going to go together easy. It's a lot of long hours in the garage trying to guess how to make it work. Now, the one thing that we haven't exactly quite figured out how to get it just perfectly right yet is the bottom housings for the throttle. You know, you see how big these holes are, right? For these lads right here to screw into, with how big those are. You know, when these Harley parts come to us, they're pretty tiny holes because, you know, the throttle cables, the housings, little mounts are a little bit tinier than your average, which is okay. You know, smaller is okay sometimes. But what we're working on now is trying to get these all in, make them look pretty. We got one in, but, you know, we're just going to have to do a little bit of do right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, just make it look a little bit better than it does. And we'll figure that out later. We'll get to that point. But you end up running into some small little tiny miscalculated details. You know, you got your throttle here, which, hey, look at that. The throttle works. And then you got the return one that I got to shove up in here and try to make that fit. And, you know, that can always be a pain in the ass trying to get things like that to fit in there. And typically you don't want to just shove it in because then it gets yelled at and everything else. When you got to make something work, bring out a Dremel. And I've already got to change out a blade. Man. Oh, don't drop your screwdriver. You know, it's a whole lot of custom stuff when you're trying to make shit work. I don't know how I feel about it. Hey, metal's hot. We are so close. I can almost taste it. All right, let's finish this old girl up so we can get this thing shoved in the hole. Ha-ha. And that is what we in the business call the backhand Dremel. Because you just want to backhand the fucking thing sometimes. Come on, you whore in a handbasket. I don't know what the whore's doing in the handbasket, but I think she deserves to be there. We are almost there. That's it. New plan. New plan. Bad plan. Good plan. Who knows? But it's a plan. All right, kids, close your eyes. Now, this probably isn't going to be the best idea I've ever had. However, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And Brandon, if you're watching this, it had to happen. I think it's going to work now. One. And Acting like a hoe rounding third base and just get in there. Thank you. So glad we could come to agreeable fucking terms. Oh! It's stuck. No, it's not stuck. You're gonna work. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm never gonna look at you again. I do not care what you look like. I'm done with you. You're going to sit here for the rest of your days and be a good... Now that we have moved said bars down and I can get the housings onto them and everything that goes with it. Yeah, then you're going just like so. Okay. So for the time being, we're going to move up top. And I'm going to go ahead and stick you guys up here. While I'm working on all this goodness. So we have our brake master cylinder, which is right here. It's going to go right on in the front there. She's going to look pretty spiffy if I do say so myself. Get these wires nice and tucked up top, and then shove this little girl right on inside here. And go through and change all the fluids over and such. But for the time being here, we're just going to go ahead and find the correct Allen key for this, so we can get this loosened up and get it ready to go. Okay, well, I got the throttle cable in here where I'm wanting it so far. Fortunately, she is stiffer than a fucking bird. So that means I gotta tighten this end up even farther. Which makes absolutely no sense to me why it's so stiff. Oh, because I was going the wrong way with it. Alright, finish tightening this control here down. It's in there a lot tighter now. Now we have one side pretty much done. We just have to move some lines, hook it up, clean it all up, tape it up, you know, the usual suspects of stuff. And we also need to plug this old heifer in back here. So we will go ahead and do that as well. And get that side going. So now we have working throttle. Nice. You always want to have a good working throttle. I got to do that side as well. I got to do a little bit of cleanup stuff up here too. So that's going to be getting done as well. Yes, we're going to go ahead and get on that. Okay, so here's a little bit of an update that we got. We got the bars all the way on. Look pretty good. Got all the buttons wired up. All the switches and levers and such wired up. Just haven't went around and done any nice little cleanup yet. Right now I'm getting to work on the front turn signals and running lights. Got all the wiring hanging down, getting ready to do. And then did a little bit of cleanup under the seat. Definitely not how I want it to stay, but it's getting somewhere. But we're just going to keep on grinding away at it. It's a little bit hard to record while I'm just doing wiring and stuff like that because of how boring it is. And it's just me today. So I'm going to go ahead and get the turn signals wired in. Then I'll be right back with you guys and I will show you guys how it's looking. What's up, guys? This is Adam with NoTorqueGarage. Now, it's been a few days since we got the bike actually done. I know that I haven't really shown it to you guys yet, but we went ahead and got Brandon over here, and he took it for a test ride with me, and I got some footage for that, so you guys will see that next. But while we were out on the test ride, we noticed that, hey, he needs the clutch to get done. It was kind of one of those things that I forgot about and didn't exactly get it done. So he ordered the clutch in a few weeks back, and it finally came in. So we get to put all that in and do all that and put it together. But first, we got the kit out here. We got seals, clutch plates, friction discs, all the fun stuff. And we got some new goodies over there that we're going to put in instead of using the self-made one that I had to do last time. But he went ahead, he picked this up from Caltrick, which I've never used any of their stuff, but apparently they work. So if it works, it works. But we're going to go ahead and get it all opened up. Now we do need to let it get kind of covered in oil, so I got a baggie here with the oil for the bike. Let them go ahead and soak for a little bit before we put them in, because they are bone dry. And you don't want these things to be bone dry going in, because then you can burn your clutch up, and it's not fun, and it kind of sucks. C1, CP138, CP138, CP138. It should all be the same, but just in case, CP138, CP138. Yep. It is all the exact same goodies and such. Now here's our new clutch plates, which surprisingly they look pretty decent here because they're all brand spanking new and nice. Ready to put in. But we're going to go ahead and add it to the bag so they can soak and do all that lovely stuff that they need to do before they get put on the bike. And get my hand covered in oil while I'm at it, because I'm just that professional at what I do, and I don't think ahead and wear gloves at all. Even though I will be swapping into a pair of gloves here pretty soon, before I start tearing the clutch case and everything else apart. Go ahead and get the friction disc going in there too, I believe. So while those are all doing their nice little soaky soak, I'm going to go ahead and transition over to get the clutch cover pulled off and get the clutch pulled apart and all that fun stuff. So I'll be right back and I'll show you guys how to do that. Alrighty guys, so we're back. We're getting all set up. I got all my tools out that I need for this. And so we're going to go ahead and start getting this clutch basket taken out and torn off so we can replace it with those friction discs and clutch plates and do the new gasket around this one. Now the main primary case is not leaking or anything like that, so I'm not going to completely worry about taking that one off and replacing the gasket. I mean, it's not leaking already, so why do it? But, so to get started, we're going to have to take off the rear brake pedal, lever, whatever you want to call it, and the nice little foot pad here. Yeah, so for those, we're just going to need this guy here, which is a 12mm socket attached to a 1/4" ratchet. So we'll get the brake one done first. And if you don't remember how exactly they go on, it's not a horrible idea to go ahead and take a little Sharpie thing and do a little doot-doot on there. But because I can roughly get it back in the correct position without needing it, I'm not going to worry about doing it. And always put your bolts back in the same hole that you took them out of. It's just courtesy, you know, put it back where you found it. And so you don't lose it later and then spend a couple hours putting a bike back together that you didn't need to spend a couple hours putting the bike back together to do, other than sheer laziness. So we're going to go ahead and get this undone. Loosen both of them up before you undo them. That way it doesn't twist and turn and do some doot-doot things on you. Makes it a little bit easier. And then we got the shop dog, making sure that we do all our work correctly. There's one. There's two. Put them back in the same hole so we don't lose them later. Because with my luck, they'll get flown across the shop somehow, and then we'll lose it, and it's going to suck, and we're not going to have the correct stuff. All right, so we got to take off the 2, 4, 6, 7 bolts that are holding this puppy on. So we're going to need some Allen wrenches for that. Don't remember exactly which size it is, but I believe it is a 7/32. I think, maybe. I've been wrong before. I've been known to be wrong before, and I was wrong. Let's take this guy out here. Oh, it's so tight. So tight. What is it? 3/16. That's the one. Is it a 3/16? It's a 3/16. I was right. Well, maybe I was right. I don't know if this is the correct Allen that goes in that hole, but it's the one we pulled out of that hole, so that's what we're going to go with, is what it is. We'll just go to the back side of it and just give her a couple love nudges. Okay. We got 2 different styles of clamp thingies. The little rings. I'm horrible at technical terms, but all I know is that we're going to get it out. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started to come out. Got this little nub here. This whole thing is still frozen in there. All right, well, that's okay. We'll get it out. Get it all out, clean this whole mess up right here. Clean all the little gunky, goobery stuff out. Like I said, honestly, I'm amazed that it lasted. All right, so there's that guy right there. Came out like it was supposed to, sort of, kind of. So now it's all nice and, ooh, nice and tight, like a toy guy. There we go. So that guy came out the way she's supposed to now. Honestly, the bearings still look great in here. With how long this bike's been sitting, honestly, I'm amazed that everything looks in here as good as it does. That really is saying something, especially for this little guy. This cute little bike. And now to get that guy out, I'm going to start undoing the little nut in there, the little lock nut. And so, since I did not feel like spending the $60 at Honda to get the nice little socket tool to get that thing out, we're going to do this a very big way that nobody should ever do this. But when you don't want to spend the money on tools from the dealership to get this kind of stuff out, instead of building your own, you do things that are a little less smart. Okay, there we go. Now that the nut's all off, go ahead, throw it on down on the paper towel here. Hi, Cassie. And then you can take this guy out of here. Nice little keeper that goes on the teeth in there. We're going to call her the keeper of the teeth. Trademarked. Get the clutch spring out of here. This guy's definitely seen better days, but honestly, if it works still, you don't screw with what's working. This guy right here can come on out. She's a little scored and nasty, but she'll be okay. And now, this main guy should be able to come on out of here. All right. So now that she's out of here, I can go ahead and take her over to the table. She definitely needed to be replaced. You can see how bad this thing was. She's good. Seal's good. That's still good. Cool. We'll go ahead and take her over to the table. And we'll go ahead and get all the clutch plates and springs and stuff swapped out. All right, so now that we're over at the table, our makeshift workbench until this Saturday when I get the entire wall done with a workbench and put everything up on top and everything else. Hi, Cassie. We're going to go ahead and get this thing torn apart. So, easiest cake to do, you just pull that guy on off of here. Make sure that all the discs and such come off and go back with the rest of them over here. And get them back into the hole that they belong to. Yeah, so you can tell that these ones not all that great. You can see, pull the end plate off here. Friction discs are sticking to it because it's flat. This is literally a flat piece of metal. You can see where the old ones were, where everything was. You can see the little scores on it. But if you look down it, it's completely flat. Like this clutch was ready to go. This clutch was ready to clock out, go home, and never be heard from again. But now that we have the new clutch and everything else, we'll go ahead and show you a comparison here. Nice little comparison of the new clutches and compared to the old. Whew. This is definitely going to be a little bit different style of a clutch. So you see how this one was flat? It's nice and flat. You couldn't see any grooves in it. This one's kind of oily, so I don't know if the grooves are going to show as good. But this one, it's got all the nice little grooves in it. It's got all the plates, everything else on all sides. It looks good, it looks clean, it looks fresh. Now to do this, you're basically going to take them off, Take all of them off except for the last two. It really doesn't matter with these ones because the aftermarket clutch doesn't have specialty ones that go on the ends or anything like that. Especially from where he got it from. But you do want to go to the end. And you're going to see the very last one on here. It's not a friction disc or anything. It's a normal plate. So you got to synchronize them. You got a normal plate, friction disc, normal plate, friction disc, back, so on and so forth until it's all gone, right? Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to double check a couple things, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting it together. So get those all out of the bag. They're all nice, lubed up, like they should be. So we're going to go ahead and throw one down. Get that away. So one down, grab a friction disc. Stupid easy to do. Just got to get done. One of those guys. Make sure they're in the grooves down there too. And find out why they're not going in the groove. The Emperor's New Groove. There we go. It's trying to. She's being white. She's being a pain in the caboose. There we go. All nice and snapped in. Another friction disc. Well, I mean another clutch plate. Because these all look the exact same on both sides. Nothing special about them. They just go right on in. Next one's in. Another clutch plate. Right on in. Friction disc. Alrighty. So that's how you re-put the clutch in. Put it all nice together. She's all seated down the way that she's supposed to. Make sure all these are kind of lined in together. You don't want them to be all out of cattywampus when you put them back on the bike. You'd want them to be kind of in a straight line, you know, straight down, in a line together, not out of it at all. So I'm going to go ahead and get you guys back over to the bike, and we're going to go ahead and reinstall this thing and then put it all back together, check the oil, check the fluids, make sure everything's good. And we're going to go ahead and be able to get this thing back down the road. So stay tuned. Alrighty. So now that we have this thing all nice and put back together, we're going to go ahead and get it all actually back together and put it back in the bike. As long as she fits in the hole like she's supposed to. There we go. I was going to say, I've been wrong before, but I think she's supposed to go all the way back in the slots. Okay. This is good, though, because she was a little tight to go in. The old one, you could go in, push it in, and it went extra than it should. So you can definitely tell that the friction discs and the plates and everything were way worn down. There's way too much play in that thing, but there's not anymore. So that's good. We want that. We need that. It's good for it to be like that. This old girl goes back on. I lied. That old girl does not go back on yet. That goes back on after all this goodness goes on, I think. Maybe not. I've been wrong before. I've been known to tell a white lie. So that side's the push down side. Yeah, I knew it. I knew this went back on first. But I do know that this old girl goes back on just like this. No, just like this. And now this nice little nut that we've got going on right here. Goes back in. Tighten until she starts tightening up. Then tighten it extra. All right, so we got it all nice and cleaned up. Now we're just gonna go ahead and put the cover back on. We got the new gasket going on there with just a little bit of sealer on the gasket because I do not ever trust just the stock green gaskets. They're not very good. They're a little bit on the cheaper side of things. The thicker paper ones are usually the ones I prefer. But I mean, it came with the kit. We're just gonna go ahead and put it on for now. Surprisingly, the gasket that I made for the bike held up a lot better. And all I used was a little bit of that black seal stuff that you could use. That's all that I really used. And it worked out great, surprisingly. Like the bike didn't leak at all, had no issues. Just made some black, took some black gasket maker, or gasket sealer, whatever you want to call it, and just went ahead and put it on the outside case, let it harden and sit for about 20 minutes to a half hour. I know they say to put it on wet, but if you kind of let it sit first before you put them together and squish it down, then it holds a little bit better and it kind of holds shape. It doesn't really squeeze out the sides as bad. And when it does squeeze, it kind of squeezes and gets around the threads and such. And it surprisingly works a little bit better. At least that's what I've found for it to work a little bit nicer. A lot of guys don't like using form a gasket or make your own gasket or anything because, let's be honest, it's a liquid that hardens. It's not usually the best, but if it does work, it works pretty well actually. So we're just gonna go ahead and get this guy tightened down here. And then we will be able to check the oil, make sure the oil levels are okay. We didn't really lose a whole lot of oil, but it's always good to check it. We have a little bit of extra oil over there if we need it. And also, we can go ahead and tighten up a couple other things on the bike that need to be tightened up, like the handlebar clamps. We're gonna check the risers. The risers were a little bit loose when we were on the test ride, he noticed. So we'll get those guys all nice and tightened up and ready to go. But first we gotta finish tightening this guy down here. So I got all of them just a little bit snug. Now we're gonna go back through and tighten each of them down. Then always, after you're done tightening all of these, go back and check the very first one that you did. Because once everything kind of tightens down and settles, you never know if that one's going to come loose again. But we're not quite there yet. Be there after I tighten this one up top here. Go back down, double check this one, make sure it's tight. It's all tight and good. Now we can sit back and admire our work. Because now the clutch is all on and done, we can go ahead and put your foot peg and the brake back on as well. Then just tighten up a couple other things and we'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and put the foot pedal back on first. So that's right there. It's all nice and tightened down. So there's how we do the clutch plates on an 85 Honda Shadow. So they're all done. So go ahead and take the gloves off. Go on up to the nice little master cylinder up top because this is a hydraulic clutch. I've rarely used one. I've never really messed with a hydraulic clutch yet. I've only ever technically used a cable. Go ahead and go up here, see if it's any stiffer, any tighter, if it works still good. And she still is pretty tight. So I think that we did an okay job. Now, if it blows up on his ride home, that'll be a different story. But he'll look good doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple other things tightened up here, and I'll be right back and show you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and double check, make sure the risers are tightened up. It is a 12 millimeter, but with how small the area is, we had to grab a shallow. Then just 1/4 inch socket. We'll go ahead and get this up in here, and we'll just see if they're a little loose, which while we were on the ride, they felt a little loose. Well, they appeared to be a little loose, but I can promise you they are not loose at all, actually. So that is good. That means that the riser bushings are just probably shot. So I'm going to go ahead and check the other side real quick. And then if none of that is a problem, we do have to tighten the bars on the top clamp because those were definitely loose. One of them was kind of finger tight. So we're going to go ahead and get those tightened up. So check this side over here. See what we're working with. So that one is fully tight as well. So we're going to go ahead and go down on the lift a little bit. And I've got the Allen key set over here, so we're coming down a little bit here. We already kind of set everything to where he wanted it. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy tightened up. Double check all these because they were very loose. It's not the right size. We'll see if the next size up is. It doesn't appear to be. So you know what that means is that it's a different size altogether. So I need to grab the other kit, which is around here somewhere. Hey, look at that. It's almost like I planned it. It's right here. Oh yeah, these were massively loose. These things were insanely loose. No wonder they were wobbly on him. It would appear that they either did not get tightened down after we did the bars, or they got skipped. Either one is a very likely possibility. Not for my best moment. However, better late than never. At least didn't do it while he was really out riding it. Tearing up the town. Have these things go out on him. That would make for a very long visit to the ER that night. Yeah. Oh, the riser bushings. I'm willing to bet that the riser bushings are shot almost. Just based on the amount of play that they have in them and the like. It's probably going to need to get a set of riser bushings. But on the bright side, those are only like $5 or $10. And I might even have a set here that'll work. So I'll talk to him, see what he wants to do. But other than that, guys, the 85 Honda Shadow is done. Like, yeah, it doesn't have mirrors, but turn your head, you'll be fine. And so we got the whole bike completely done, redone. Turn signals are all on. They look fantastic going down the road. He's going to get a new headlight that's going to be LED, so it'll look a little better. All the new bars are done. All the wiring and everything else is done with those. I'm going to put everything back together. My least favorite bit, the seat and how he chopped his own rear fender. But on the bright side, he's got a new fender coming for it. And he's going to look at getting a new seat. We're going to do some drop shocks on her as well at some point. So they're about 12 inches up the way they sit. They're going to get changed over. We're going to do some 10.5s. I'm going to lower it down a little bit because he's got short legs. But for the time being, guys, that's all I've got for you. This is Adam with No Torque Garage, and I'll see you guys again next time.